Hello guys, my name is Justin Barlow and welcome to another episode of Top 10. And today I'm doing a Top 10 horror movie, and remember, these are in my opinion. If you think another movie is scarier than this, please post at the bottom. And I'd really appreciate if you subscribe to this page. It's just Justin Barlow because, to be honest, I couldn't really think of anything else for this. Today is my opinion of the top 10 horror movies of all time. First up, number 10 is the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street was a 1980s horror movie, which this one was pretty freaky, but there's been a total of 7 sequels, which kind of sucked. They were all in 1990s, 1980s, but I thought they just sucked, because if you watch the first one, then watch the rest, they just weren't no good. But anyway, that was my number 10, and this is number 9, in my opinion, is Paranormal Activity 4. Paranormal Activity 4 is basically this girl meets this new neighbor who moves in, and then they start experiencing paranormal activity around their house, and it's strange, but it kind of all makes sense at the end. But I'm not going to tell you the ending because some of you haven't seen this and some of you really want to. Or, well, it's been out for a while, but I don't know who's haven't seen it, or you just can't afford it, or whatever. But I'm not going to say nothing about it. Just look it up if you want to. Coming in at number 8 is, this ain't really a horror movie, it's more of an action / horror, is Liam Neeson's The Grey. Liam Neeson's The Grey is about, these 5 members of this team who went to Alaska for business, and their plane crashed when they're trying to head home, and now they gotta figure out a way to survive this pack of wild wolves. And what I thought was cool, they slowly die one by one in weird ways, but what sucked about this movie was at the end, Liam Neeson is the only member left. Basically, he's got to figure out how to survive. And then he finally finds the den of the wolves and meets the alpha wolf. What I think sucked is how the movie ended. He has a knife taped to one hand, broken glass bottle, sharp on another hand. What sucks is when he's ready to attack, the movie just ends. And, there's also a 2-second video after the critics from that movie. If you want to watch that and tell me what you think. Did he win the fight or did he lose the fight? You tell me. And I'm going to carry on. Number 7 is actually, there's been 2 remakes. This is the 3rd remake. Let me rephrase that. There's been 2 remakes. This is the 2nd remake. And I thought it was pretty cool because the other ones are kind of like 70s, 80s, stuff like that. It's Stephen King's Carrie. Carrie is basically on this girl who has this telekinesis. She can manipulate with things with her minds. She's asked to prom from this guy from another school who she really likes, but and then it kind of ends up in a disaster because these mean kids who they blamed Carrie for getting in trouble, and they couldn't go to prom, so they decided to pour pig blood on her head, and which is kind of sad if you think about it. But then she goes on a psychotic rampage and kills almost everyone. I love how it's so graphic, how they slow down when people are about to get killed in a gruesome way. But I thought it was pretty cool. Even the picture on the front is cool. That's basically her. But in my opinion, the only reason I got this movie was the graphic and mostly the main character who played Carrie in this movie. Her name was Chloe Grace Moretz, however you say that. But if you want to look her up, that's her name, and she's pretty good looking. I'm just saying, but she made an excellent Carrie. Next is one of a freaky horror movie. It's Paranormal Activity 3. Basically, it's about these 2 girls, and it took place, what it says down there, 1988, stuff like that. but you kind of see that shadowy figure in the middle. You don't know what that is, but in my opinion, it's actually a ghost trying to possess them. It's weird, but it's kind of freaky too. It kind of just begins the whole Paranormal Activity saga. It should be number one in my opinion. The first Paranormal Activity, not my list right here. And speaking of number one, number 6 is actually number 5 is the first Paranormal Activity, which is pretty freaky. This is a wife and her boyfriend / husband, and they're looking at a strange figure right here on the door, which is kind of freaky. That's kind of just begins it, but it's pretty freaky at the end. I'm not gonna say nothing. Okay, I'm just gonna move on because I'm limited on this video. Next, which is my favorite, is the Nightmare on Elm Street. This is not the 80s. This is like the 2010 remake of the original Nightmare on Elm Street. What I thought was cool about this was new Freddy Krueger. It's kind of freaky. This is all freaky, but I love how it's more graphic and it's kind of freaky, but it ain't really scary, but it's pretty freaky. Okay, that was number 4. Number 3, and this is kind of weird. You might think, okay, this next movie ain't pretty scary, but in my opinion, it was the very first Saw. And as you can see, this is the uncut edition. Basically, it's about these 2 men trapped in a bathroom, and they're chained to a pipe, and eventually they'll die in there if they don't figure out something. But as you can see, it's kind of really cool. There's a dead guy in the middle of the floor. I love the ending where a guy has to saw off his own foot to escape, and the dead guy is not really dead. It's freaky as hell. Well, I'm sorry, but if you want to watch that, I think the sequels just didn't really kind of make sense. But number 7, if you haven't seen that was pretty good because they kind of show more violent stuff. But either way, I'm going to move on. And coming in at number 2 is Halloween number 2, and this is the uncut director's cut. Well, unrated director's cut, sorry. And I thought it was pretty freaky, but my favorite thing is it was directed by Rob Zombie, which, in my opinion, he's a good musician and good director too. Basically, Michael Myers, a serial killer, comes back and he tries to get this girl that he missed, that he didn't kill years ago. Basically, he's come back, and then you kind of realize that this girl he's after is part of his family, but it's freaky. It is really freaky, but you can watch it, give me your opinion on it. It is good. In my opinion, it's best, but I wish they would make a number 3, and I hope they do, but they haven't been a number 3, but I hope they do. And finally, this might not seem scary, but this is like a remake. If you probably know The Curse of Chucky. Now, remember, I said Curse of Chucky. People look at this and they think it's The Bride of Chucky or something like that. But The Curse of Chucky, kind of the same thing. Basically, it's kind of hard to explain because there's so many surprises in there. Basically, a family gets a doll, and the mom is mysteriously killed, but the daughter is paralyzed from the waist down. And at the end, it kind of makes sense how she got paralyzed. But the weird thing is Chucky is, if you've seen the originals, he's still that guy who knows voodoo stuff, put himself inside a doll, and basically he's out to kill everyone in this house. But what I thought was freaky was just the ending. There's a few heart stoppers in there, but the one that made me just nearly pee myself, I'm dead serious, was the ending. You gotta watch the whole thing. This just happens like 2 seconds before the critics. It's pretty freaky. So, that was my top 10 list of top 10 horror movies of all times, in my opinion. But, now that was my opinion, but if you have a different opinion, let me know. Just post it down at the bottom, and don't forget to subscribe to this. It's just a Barlow, because I couldn't think of anything else, because I was kind of stupid when I made a YouTube page. Well, okay, that wasn't funny. Okay, but don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching. Bye.